Trendy tech is always exciting, and the best kind of reviews about it are those sharing long-term experience. So here's the DJI Pocket 4 a few months later. Is it the best fit for you, and can it beat my full-frame camera? Let's inspect.
Okay, great to meet you here. I'm Michael, and I review tech in a more practical way. And I originally bought the DJI Pocket 4 thinking it would become a secondary camera in my workflow, something for travel shots or behind-the-scenes clips or maybe quick social media content. But then I thought, why don't I force myself to use it more often? And then I decided to push things further. I forced myself to shoot the entire B-roll for 2 complete reviews using just the DJI Pocket 4 instead of my usual Sony setup. And that experiment has been eye-opening because this is no longer just a gadget. This category is evolving incredibly fast, but it is still in a different league.
And because of that, I think I can already give you the verdict. No, the Pocket 4 does not completely replace my full-frame camera, at least not for the way I work. But it has replaced something equally important: the constant need to carry a large camera, a gimbal, a camera backpack, and a whole collection of accessories every single time I want to create content. And the more I use it, the more I realize that convenience matters a lot more than most creators are willing to admit. Let's start this journey with some thoughts about the design and the build quality. If you've ever been tempted by Generation 3 or had one, then experience will for sure feel very familiar. Small pack, inside there's the camera, a carrying case, cable, and some papers. At first sight, the Pocket 4 looks and feels like the 3. Dimensions are the same, likely the housing as well. A 5D joystick replaces the standard joystick, adding a backward movement and a flip function. But again, the real game changer are these 2 extra buttons, because finally, it is really easy to switch the joystick function between zoom and gimbal control without having to deal with the menus. I wish DJI gave us a bit more options here, for example, the ability to select specific features such as the focus mode, in particular Product Showcase. Technically, if you include it in a custom preset, you can load it together with the entire video filming subset, but it would be nice to be able to select smaller refinements. Yet, with some patience and time to get used to, I managed to achieve a comfort level that goes way beyond my smartphone video setup, and at the moment, despite my admiration towards the setup with the Motion Cam app, and if you're curious you can check my detailed video, the Pocket 4 feels like a very powerful replacement, which adds a lot more extra value.
I think the biggest strength of the Pocket 4 has nothing to do with the image quality. This camera wants to be carried everywhere. It is tiny and lightweight and starts almost instantly, takes literally seconds to begin recording. No lens decisions, no balancing, no gimbal setup, no huge back, no, okay, let me prepare the camera first. It just works.
If I haven't seen the Insta360 Luna Ultra with a removable display, probably at this point of time I would have said that the design here is almost perfect. Yet everything about the Pocket 4 is very functional. Every button has a purpose, every control feels thought through, and after a few months of use, I rarely find myself fighting the camera. It's kind of the same feeling with the hardware. Pocket 4 is nearing much more expensive and capable gear, at least concerning video bitrate and video quality. The color consistency with the rest of DJI's portfolio is also not to be underestimated. Specs state that it has a new image sensor. The exact model is not disclosed, but apparently it has at least as good quality as the Pocket 3, plus offers greater resolution options, especially about photos.
Fact is that with my Sony setup, I have much deeper control, more customization, more precision, greater depth of field with bigger objects, proper monitoring thanks to the flexible display, and better ergonomics. But the Pocket 4 often gives me maybe 80, maybe 90% of the result I'm targeting for YouTube, with just 20% of the effort. And that ratio is superb, especially for YouTube creators, because viewers nowadays care far more about storytelling, pacing, lighting, audio, and personality than tiny differences in sensor performance or using high-end cameras. The automatic mode experience here is fantastic. Exposure is reliable, autofocus is surprisingly trustworthy and tunable. You can have it prioritizing your face or a product and so on. Stabilization is best in class. The white balance consistency is much better than I would expect. And because of this mixture, using the camera feels liberating. I love the combo of my phone and the ND filter, which I usually carry with me, but the Pocket 4 gives me better results with greater consistency and obviously a lot better stabilization.
The menus are really nicely grouped. By default, you'd see the slow motion, the photo and video modes, and a dedicated night mode. Footage recorded with the last one is so good. I mean, it's not only usable, it looks great and with very solid dynamic range and super bright with almost no noise. DJI did some really great work here. This beats each and every action camera because stabilization is mechanical and there will be zero artifacts like jitters noticeable. The footage simply looks natural. Even difficult walking shots come out smooth and usable. I think these many samples prove what I say. This is a mixture of footage, some of it captured for fun, some of it for work projects, and as stated, I have recorded all the B-roll footage for 2 complete reviews on the channel in the past month, only with the Pocket 4. You can check the full Xiaomi 17T Pro and the Rec Tiger F7 and A videos, and you will see the Pocket 4 in real action about filming the products. If you wonder whether slow motion is possible, just watch.
Interested in more tips and tricks? Then probably we should talk more about accessories, and in the meantime testing out the internal microphone of the Osmo Pocket 4 close to a very noisy boulevard. Now I got a few sets of accessories from Telesin, a lot of filters like a 5-star filter, a CPL or diffusion one. There's a variable ND that I'm currently using. There's a battery stick and a lot more. I'm going to link the most interesting ones in the video description area. But the key takeaway is that concerning the Pocket 4, almost everything that used to be compatible with the Pocket Generation 3 is compatible. And the best part? The DJI mic series, which can significantly enhance your audio quality.
In my workflow, the most valuable mod I did is buying this converter, which allows me to easily mount the Pocket 4 to my tripod without making it bulkier. Sounds simple, but it dramatically increases the number of situations where I can use the camera. Big part of the good experience is also down to the software, both the in-camera, aka the menus, and the smartphone app. I mentioned that I find the menus very adaptable and convenient. They're also predictable, which is something creators appreciate a lot after extended use. The smartphone app can be a great reference screen. You can easily adapt the angle and control the Pocket 4 remotely, plus switching modes from within the app is a lot more convenient, especially if your target is to film smooth pans or more static shots, so that you don't have to touch the unit itself. It also has a very good editor and allows quick sharing of content without having to involve a computer.
But the moment you decide this camera can replace your full-frame equipment for professional workflows, you start thinking about the drawbacks and the areas where it is not that close. And I have felt the pain from some of these already.
The biggest one is the display. It is perfectly adequate for casual shooting and automatic modes, but once you start recording D-log footage and manually controlling the exposure, things become more challenging. It is simply harder to judge overexposure and underexposure on a display this small. Focus can also be tricky, not because the autofocus is bad, quite the opposite, but because checking critical focus on a tiny screen is never ideal. Another interesting observation, the more professional your workflow becomes, the more likely you are to attach accessories, external monitors, microphones, and various mounts. The irony is that at some point you're going to start rebuilding the complexity that the Pocket 4 is supposed to eliminate. Studio work is another example. In a controlled environment, I still prefer my Sony. Physical buttons, larger display, and muscle memory make a huge difference. The Pocket 4 feels fantastic outdoors. In the studio, larger cameras probably still maintain a clear advantage.
So, can the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 replace a full-frame creator camera? For me personally, not completely, at least not yet, but I also need to admit something that is important, that this little camera changed how often I create content on the go, especially outdoors. For sure, I no longer carry with me a big gimbal, a large tripod and a dedicated camera backpack because the Pocket 4 constantly removes these excuses. It removes the preparation time, the complexity, the heavyweight lifting of gear. It's a camera that makes you want to feel more often. I still believe larger cameras make more sense for advanced studio work, but for YouTube, for travel, lifestyle content, vlogging, social media, or just documentaries, the Pocket 4 is the real deal. If you already have the Pocket 3 though, don't change anything, don't upgrade. It's almost as good as the 4, and this could have easily been called the 3 Plus or something. The 4 Pro with telephoto is another beer. It's the real upgrade. But if you want to start with something amazing, that's the one. Thank you for listening to all my thoughts in the last few minutes. I hope this little experiment was worthy. It has shown some interesting findings to myself. I know you have one more different opinion on this device. And if there's anything else I can help you with, happy to join me in the comments below the video. Support the channel through any of the affiliate links which are posted in the description. Or you can become a member or at least a subscriber. I'm the TechMishka. I'll see you soon. Bye.